Hey everyone, making another video here. I want to make another video because I know I say a bunch of stuff in my videos that you might not be able to understand, but I want to clear that up and basically tell 10 radar/weather tips so you get to learn about these and see how weather works. So let's get started, shall we? I'm just going to pick a random location in this area here, and we're going to pick right here. This is just a random radar site. Hold on, let me change out to that. So, let's talk about each part of precipitation the radar shows. Now most people think this is the only one. This is the only type of radar there is, and that's not true at all. Now, let me tell you what these mean. So, in these lighter green colors here, that means there's less precipitation. The farther you move in, that means there's more precipitation, like the darker colors like yellows and reds. The red has more precipitation than the green, the yellow has more precipitation than the green, and the green has less precipitation than the yellow. So, that isn't the only type of precipitation there is, though. You can see, because if I move this like this, you can see that those reds are higher elevated than the greens, because that's basically showing, hey, the clouds are more higher, and that's why when you see those purples and pinks, those are called supercells because they're way more higher up in the air. Now, moving on to our next tip here, we're going to go to surface lows. I want to talk about surface lows for a minute. So I keep on saying low pressure, high pressure. Now, what does that all mean? Low pressure is the indication of storms. Like, for example, I have surface lows on so we can see these. The red L's mean low pressure. Now, which does each one mean? Because there's 3 lines coming out of here. And those will be connected, so it's normal to see these. So this is a secluded front, which is basically a warm front, but has kind of merged into a cold front, but it depends. Sometimes they can be warmer, but not warm, but colder, but not cold. Then you have cold, which is called the cold front. And basically, that means the colder air is coming that way. That's kind of obvious, right? And then the winter, which was still transitioning into, so even though it's April, we can still see these, especially in the north. Arctic fronts. These bring along extremely cold air. Now, you're wondering, do they just stay? No. Each one moves. The warm front moves west, and the cold fronts move east, eventually merging into each other, like I would assume one or two did here. Now, there's something else that not many people talk about. Well, when there's a severe weather outbreak, where does the precipitation usually form? Well, you usually see precipitation in the circled area here. That's where you usually see precipitation. Well, this area isn't having severe weather at all. That's what they talk about. Basically, you'll see them behind the cold front, and then after a cold front, you'll see nice cold relief. Now, what does high pressure mean? High pressure, like we can see over the Midwest here, means that there's nothing. It's a nice and sunny day. It's a nice and sunny day outside. It's really happy. I'm trying to draw a sun right now. Not the best drawing, especially in this, but you can see a nice sun. It's all nice and sunny. There's not much to it. However, these can become a problem sometimes, especially in the summer, because we can have things like this, where we have people like to call an omega block. Now, these during the summer aren't good. They usually form in the south, and they kind of spread eastward. So, they spread eastward, and that's how heat waves are created. And there's another thing they can do. Sometimes they can become so strong is that they will bend the jet stream around them. Yeah, that's right. They will bend the jet stream. And that's what I actually see upcoming. Soon we'll have a omega block. They can form anywhere though. They can form up here. They can form like way down here. They can form anywhere. Now let me refresh this because I want to get rid of all that stuff. So of course you have this high pressure. And again, it radiates eastward. So that's what you can see there. However, looking at this, they can also become so strong, in fact, that they can bend the jet stream around them. Often doing things like this, where they bend the jet stream around that omega block and then sparsely down after it, making the jet stream kind of look like this. And soon, we're going to see an omega block soon. Now, this omega block can do one of two things. It's going to form over the northwest around early April. And what this will do is force storms either north, like way up into Canada, and deeply into the south, bringing a lot of warmth and possibly heat concerns in the west. Or they'll go way south and jump up. Sometimes it does that, yeah. Let me zoom out though for you can get a better idea of what this is going to be. So you have the high pressure here. It's going to be a relatively big area, basically forcing storms to either go around it, which should create heat concerns, or sometimes they can force storms to go under them and then way up. So that's what we could be seeing soon. And that's not good. So anyways, diving into the third topic. Now, if you have radar omega, which is what I'm using, there's multiple things. Like there's MMRS, which, what does MMRS do exactly? MMRS is basically where it shows the whole map. However, you can't access the certain features. It's just reflectivity, winter weather, and you can see 1 hour hail, which is known anywhere. Why did I say known? Winter weather, precipitation, 24-hour hail, which nothing happened. 4-hour, 2-hour, 1 hour hail, current hail, 24-hour rotation. And then there's this like precipitation accumulation probability of severe hail. Now, but however, you're gonna have to restart your radar omega because it will break. Sometimes it will break. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to close out. Sorry for the screen going dark. I just have to restart radar omega here, because it doesn't want to work. And there you go, we can see you just have to restart it though and it comes back. Yeah, I know it's annoying, but yeah. And then there's two other things. Now I have a beta subscription, alpha only, so if you want satellite, that's gamma. If you want that's alpha and beta. If you want models, which I don't have, you want alpha. So what are these two do? Well, these will basically scan all the clouds. So all the clouds in the area will be scanned and basically show to you. Now, what does forecast do? This is a good one, and I'd recommend getting it if you can, because this shows all of the dew points. This could show dew points, as you can see. Dew points of being low and high. You can see the temperature, which it looks really cold in Minneapolis, and really hot in Texas. Precipitation totals right now, which you can see the exact precipitation totals. You can see the snow for 6 hours, which there's some mild snow in the Rockies and in northern Michigan, like lake area. Snow totals. Wind gusts. Like really gusty when they're at lowers. That's also another thing. Yeah, they can get gusty where the lows are. Wind sustained. You can see all of that with forecast models. So I'd highly recommend them checking them out. So going back to single site, which frankly you don't have to restart your radar omega. No, I want to say this next one is also for radar omega, and it's what I use sometimes. I haven't used it in a while. Is you can look at the climatological outlooks. Now this is a thing called created by radar omega. There's also NOAA, which if you look them up, you can eventually find it. So we can see the temperature. And speaking of that, let's go over it. So in the next 6 to 10 days, you can see this. Warmth means like orange and blue means cold. However, it says percentage. So this isn't guaranteed to happen. It's just a prediction. You can never perfectly predict weather. It's very hard to, and basically impossible. But then you can also look at precipitation too. Now don't worry if you don't have radar omega because you can't afford it. That's okay because you can look at these from NOAA or whatever. Just search up climatological outlooks in Google or whatever browser you use, and you can look at these too and see what they look like. Okay, number 5. So I've heard people ask a lot, what are the colors for warnings? Because it's not really easy to tell like colors. And what I mean by colors is like affiliated, like let's say purple's affiliated with winter or red's affiliated with heat. So I'm going to write. We're gonna have 4 bars for non-precip, hydro, which are all rain, severe weather, and winter. Now, what colors can you expect from this? Let's start with winter. Winter, you can experience purple, so I'm just put purple there. You can experience blue sometimes. You can experience pink. And you can also sometimes experience red. Red usually is used in most warnings. Why? Because it indicates that very severe weather is on its way. In this case, usually red is used for blizzard warnings. Usually the most type severe. Now, moving all the way down to non-precip, you can literally, there's not much to see. You can literally see browns. You can see red, again, due to heat. You can see dark red, also due to heat. I don't know why it's selected. There we go. You can see dark reds, so we just color that over here. And you can sometimes maybe see pinks. Now, weird shades of pinks, too. Not like your normal shade of pinks. Why? It's because of fire warnings. Hydro, there's only 2 colors I've ever seen in hydro. Green, light green, and dark green. Those are the two that you usually see for rain and hydro. What do you see for severe weather? Well, there's a lot. There's a lot you can see. You can see greens. You can see yellows. You can see oranges. You can see reds. You can see black sometimes it's like really strong, and you can also see pinks too. There's a lot of different color ranging. Now, why did I pick this? Well, I'll tell you. Green is like light severe weather. Yellow is moderate severe weather. Orange is severe, like, severe weather, pretty bad severe weather. Red means, like dangerous severe weather. Pink means, like, life-threatening, severe weather. And black means, like, that's usually lined on pink, like, tornado emergency boxes. Like, if you have a tornado emergency, it looks like a pink, it looks like a pink trapezoid with 4 black boxes on each corner. If you see that for you area, get into the lowest basement or lowest floor in your room and stay away from windows. And prefer to get the most, like, center point inside your house. Now that was kind of like a 5.5 and a 6. That was like a 5 and a 6, so yeah. Now we're gonna jump straight to 7. 7 is, like, well, how is weather predicted? Well, it's quite complicated. Basically, it involves clouds. Yay! We all like clouds. Now, there's different types of clouds. Now, there's like 4 clouds that just are like serious clouds. Those don't really produce storms. They're not really that important. The only 2 clouds that you really need to know about when you're predicting weather are... Hold on, let me get my pencil out. Yeah, literally a pencil. You need cumulus and I might spell it wrong. No, nimbus. Now, what's the difference between these storms? They look like they have the same name. Well, cumulus. Draw a really stupid cloud for a minute. These mean happy. Happy, happy, happy. It's because these clouds mean that you can only experience some maybe like light snow or rain showers depending on where you are. So these won't produce much, and those are the happy clouds. Cumulonimbus, on the other hand, bad clouds. Nobody likes those clouds because they're very bad. Nobody likes them. They also look really tall. They sad. We don't like these clouds. They can produce heavy rain, hail, and even tornadoes. So those you need to watch out for. If you see cumulo clouds that are white, that's very good. That means they won't produce precipitation. After they turn gray, they're bad. Nobody likes them. However, snow and rain have different... Like, if it's a cold day and it looks like it's going to snow, those are usually a bit lighter than rain clouds because usually snowflakes, on average, are lighter than water droplets. So, yeah. Now, going into our next tip here, which will be our final tip. There's going to be 8. I meant 8 when I said 10. I did not mean to say 10. It was 8. Lastly, the final tip is, well, if I live in a different country, how do I see weather predictions? Like, why does... Like, where if I live in Canada and I will see a few warnings? Well, it's mainly because of one thing. How advanced countries are. Like the United States, for example. They're the most meteorologically advanced country in the world, so they're going to have, the better warnings and stuff like that. So, like Canada, Germany, which Radio America covers, and Canada and Germany, those guys don't have as much warning, so you won't see much. And that's going to end up the video. Again, like I said, I actually meant 8. I'll put 8 in the title of this video when it's recorded. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful day.